Today on Tech Inside, let's do a review of the EVGA GTX 760 graphic card. Welcome Insiders, I'm Eric. So my most recent computer build, my Hackintosh / gaming computer, which I have right behind me, I have the NVIDIA GTX 760. This is the EVGA version. It's super clocked and has 2 GB of RAM. We're not going to be taking a look at the actual design of the card too much, but to let you know, it's a pretty big card. It has 2 fans and it has a mini display port, it has an HDMI port, and it has 2 DVI ports for all your outputs to video. Because it's such a big and powerful card, you're gonna have to plug in extra power from your power supply from your computer. It doesn't just take power from your motherboard. Anyway, then let's jump to actual performance tests. Now, I've never done a review of a graphic card, so I'm not entirely sure all the benchmarks I should be running, but I ran a few that I saw. First was Cinebench. I just ran the GPU test, and I got a frame rate of 100.52. which is by far the highest score I've ever gotten on any computer. To put it in a slight comparison of like my MacBook Pro here, which just has integrated graphics, has the Intel 3000 chip, I think I only got around 15 frames, so that's a huge increase. But looking at some gaming benchmarks, I ran the 3D Mark Firestrike test, and I got a score of 5,628. That actually is not bad at all. A really high-end PC with like a Titan graphic card only gets 9,131. So really for benchmarks, it seems to be working pretty well. But what about actually having this in real-world applications? Like, I don't know, gaming. For a simple game like Minecraft, frame rates varied extremely, but I usually got in between 100 to 200 frames per second, which is overkill because the monitor is only 60 Hz. So if you put on like VSync, it'll get a straight up 60 frames per second with no problems. Now going to a slightly more demanding game, Team Fortress 2. With all these settings maxed out, I got a standard 120 frames per second. But now going to some actual demanding games, Crysis 2, on Ultra settings, I got around 50 frames per second. Now on Battlefield 3, I got in between 30 to 40 frames per second on Ultra, which isn't anything amazing, but it's still perfectly playable. Just to let you know, all the tests I've been doing are at the resolution of 1080p, which is what my monitor is behind me, and unfortunately, that's about all the games I did. I didn't really have much more games to play because I just don't have tons of games to test out. I don't have like Crysis 3, Battlefield 4, and all that. But with that said, I've been doing some research and I've been talking to a few people that have this graphic card, and I've been talking to them about other games and other game performances. So looking at Crysis 3, I didn't get to test it out myself, but for what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be getting around 22 to 24 frames per second on its highest settings, which isn't exactly playable. So if you turn the settings down a bit, maybe to like high or medium, you should get some playable frame rates. Now looking at BioShock Infinite, it looks like we're playing at around 40 frames per second, which is pretty good. Dirt 3 is going to be getting around 41 frames per second. So I think you can get the point. Really, you're going to be able to play any game you throw at this graphic card. Unfortunately, you might have to turn down some settings here and there, but still, you can get any game to be playable. Shifting gears a bit more, what about video editing with this graphic card? I'm not exactly sure how to do specific benchmarks for video editing, but I edit on Final Cut Pro X, which I have a Hackintosh behind me, and Final Cut Pro X with this graphic card works amazing, no complaints at all. And the graphic card's gonna be perfectly capable to handle like Premiere Pro as well as After Effects. But really I'm focusing this graphic card more on gaming and not video editing and whatnot, so maybe I'll do some benchmarks for video editing and whatnot with this graphic card in the future. But going back to gaming though, like I said, gaming's gonna be great on this graphic card. But if you want to get even higher frame rates, you can obviously get a higher end graphic card like a 780, or maybe you can get 2 760s, because the 760 I have right now, the EVGA, is actually SLI ready, so you can easily connect 2 cards together and have them in SLI, and they're gonna basically double the performance. But I think that might be for a little bit of a different video. Anyway guys, I hope you liked today's video, hope you liked this graphic card review. Overall, I would recommend the 760, and I would look into getting 2 760s if you want to get more performance, but like I said, I'll make another video on that later. Anyway guys, hope you liked today's video. Like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends, help the channel any way you can. If you want to see any more benchmarks or whatnot on this graphic card, something I missed out, let me know and I'll make another video. Anyway guys, my name's Eric, this is Tech Inside, and I'm signing out.